You've now put the change into place. Everybody's bought into it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you sustain it? How do you make sure that you're not going to have to run this program again in a year's time?
Well, I guess there's a number of things, isn't it? Understanding your culture and understanding your employee brand, that they've got to be really linked. You've got to be really clear when you're attracting people that you know what your culture is, because then you attract the right people. It's easy to onboard them, and you've got longevity. Yeah, turnover is huge when it comes to misalignment in culture. So I think there's a real piece around onboarding, branding, anything from a development respect has got to be aligned. Obviously, the leadership could continue to understand the development that they need, but you've got to continue to audit. You've got to measure this, and I think for so many organisations for so long, they've literally audited employee engagement.
Yeah.
Now, employee engagement is one thing, but it is only one part of it. Auditing your culture is the thing in its entire sense. So actually taking that time to go, right, which audit is the one that is going to give us the most value now? You may still need both, but the cultural audit will tell you exactly where your culture is. It will show you, where the dips are, what you might need to be doing, where the focus should be. If trust is starting to go on a downward, why? Explore that. What's happened in the last 12 months that may have meant that has happened? And in which case, what do we need to do to fix it?
Said data really matters in terms of culture. You need to be able to break all of this stuff down. We've broken it down into 8 particular categories, but however you dice and slice it, you have to have the data. But I think a cultural change program is as much about the emotions and the buy-in of people. So when do you know that it's really embedded now within the organisation?
I think where you know the organisation and where you know a very kind of the leadership style has been very much, command control. I don't need to ask for help. I think where leaders start taking the step because they want to explore more, where their curiosity is now spiked, where they feel slightly exposed, where there's a level of vulnerability, but that's okay, and they start coming to the table because actually they're now asking. I think that's when you know that there's a shift.
It would be easy for people to get the impression as they work through the toolkit that there's never a point when you say, this is it now. It's not always going to be a blank sheet of paper. There comes a point where you say, this is what we stand for. This is what anyone new to this organisation has to take on board now. In the process of developing that, yes, sure, it's fluid, but there comes a point where you actually are onboarding people on the basis of your culture.